Hello everyone, I'm Rakesh Meher. I'm a part of IBM Data and AI business in India, South Asia. I hope you're enjoying and having a very informative session in this AI Data and AI forum. I again welcome you all. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to talk about how data preparation plays a very important role in achieving the desired results in your AI journey. As other speakers have already emphasized enough on the importance of AI everywhere at an enterprise level, I cannot emphasize more why it is so important. AI plays a very important role, and the entire enterprise and the industry going ballistic about AI. AI, if it is sprouting in a nook and a corner in any organization, it is good. But mostly, many organizations are failing when they are trying to scale it up at an enterprise level. And that is where AI is not able to deliver what it is supposed to deliver. So we need to understand what can we do to make all our AI applications enterprise ready. Now, before going there, I also need to spend another couple of minutes in making you understand how AI is important and what role is going to play in your next wave of growth. I read an article a couple of days back which said, if you ignore AI, then you belong to the same category of people who had ignored internet and .com in the 90s. And trust me, you don't want to be there, because all your downstream applications are going to consume AI, or AI is going to be the de facto layer in your all downstream applications. Moreover, another very important thing is, can you trust your data? The data which is coming from various set of system of engagements, applications, can you trust that data? Sometimes it is something like an analogy that my data says my world is flat, but is it? It is not. And that's why you need to find the right set of data at the right time. So these are various aspects of having the right data, and that is why data preparation plays a very important role. So the objective of this session is how to bring order to the data chaos. So in the next slide, we are going to talk about how data preparation can be done in 3 different phases. So the first one is data preparation itself, which is making it right at the first step itself, and that's the reason it plays a very important role. The second one is data cataloging, how you are going to organize the data, how you are going to govern the data, and why it plays a very important role, and we are going to talk about that. And the third one is data accessibility, so that data could reach to the right set of people with highest efficiency in your organization. There are various stakeholders in the AI lifecycle. While everyone plays a very important role, the data scientist's role is the most important one. They are, needless to say, that they are quite expensive resources. So you don't want them to spend most of their time in preparing the data for feeding it to the AI applications. So you want your data scientists to spend quality time in preparing models which will further optimize the business models. Having said that, if you have different set of data coming from different sources and they are not unified, then actually data scientists spend a lot of time in nurturing the data, sanitizing the data, and making it AI ready. If 5 years back, a service provider or a company would come and say, I'm not Houdini, that I would just simply swing my magic wand and the data would become AI ready. But now it is possible. We have tools and solutions in which you simply can pump in the data and the data becomes AI ready, so that your expensive resources like data scientists can spend most of their time in giving you value out of their business models. So in the data preparation stage, we're going to talk about a couple of problems that different stakeholders they face. The first one is the data discovery. In the data discovery phase, there is a full friction between the IT team and the data scientist team. Now, why there is a friction? Data scientist's job is to prepare models. Now, if he doesn't get the right data, then he goes back to the IT team asking for the right set of data. Now, IT team comes with a very large bill saying that if you need this kind of data, which is business ready data, then you need to spend a lot of money. And then it gets into a loop, and that becomes a never-ending process. And that is the reason the data scientist decides to get things done on his own. After that tug of war, or the blame game rather I would say, the data scientist decides to get things done. Now he doesn't have the tools to get it done magically or automatically. So he depends on the traditional process of coding, or in the form of some rudimentary tools in which he do the joining and all those scripts, running scripts, and gets the data done. But that takes a lot of time. As I mentioned earlier, that is not his job. Moving forward, if we see the process of evolution in which data preparation has evolved, earlier, some decade back, people used to write codes for the process of data sanitization, data cleansing, data aggregation. Then a few of the tools came into the picture which were very rudimentary in nature, a very basic UI. You still have to write codes or run scripts to get your desired data. For the first time in the industry, with the partnership with Trifecta, IBM has launched IBM InfoSphere Advanced Data Preparation. In this tool, everything is automated. And I'm very proud to say that it is absolutely magical and automated, having an inbuilt layer of machine learning in this tool, which makes the data preparation experience very entertaining and very interactive. So before I go further into this tool, let me tell you another very important aspect why AI application fails is the sheer absence of the capability of the tool to scale up. So IBM's advanced data preparation solution is quite visually enriching, is very interactive. It learns on its own because of a fabric of machine learning built into this. So it takes a lot of load from the data scientists or data engineers or data citizens for that matter, and do the job on its own. Now, another very important reason why it saves 80% of the time of all these stakeholders is because of its self-service. Because this tool is so visually interactive, you don't need to have any kind of special skills or training to learn this tool. Any business user can also log into this tool with the right set of credentials and can start working on it. So net to net is this solution of IBM doesn't require you to have a very profound knowledge of database preparation, database cleaning, quality improvement, nothing of that sort. It's simply just you kickstart it and start rolling it. So both the challenges that we discussed a while back, IBM Advanced Data Preparation Solution addresses both these challenges with the help of self-service access, which can be available to all the right stakeholders in the company, and at the same time, the accelerated preparation, which is powered by the machine learning. So it gets better and better. It understands the patterns in the data. When you upload a data into the solution, it on its own understands the different patterns. It suggests what are the ways to better the data, for example, in terms of standardizing the date, in terms of standardizing the addresses, joining different data sets together. All these things are automated in this tool, and that is one of the biggest advantage. I cannot emphasize more on how integrated the machine learning is in this tool. Then another very important dimension in data preparation lifecycle is having a proper documentation of data lineage. From the point of inception to the point of reflection, you need to have a very clear view of your data. If you do not have that view, then you cannot trust your data. And that is the reason data lineage plays a very important role. And through this solution, you can have a 360-degree view of your data lineage. Then instant previews you can have while you are working on this solution, on this platform. You don't need to wait for this tool to process your data and data anomalies. It can instantly shows you how quickly it is making your data better. Then faster workflow. If you do not have a collaboration platform, then the tool is of no use in this era of technology. That's the reason IBM has incorporated workflow into this platform, through which various stakeholders can work at the same time. And of course, with the investment and the expertise of both IBM and Trifecta. This is one of those tools in the industry today which is having phenomenal success. If you look at this slide, how Gartners and Forresters of the world have recognized the caliber and the output and performance of this tool, we are right at the right-hand side top corner in terms of our performance. So this is just about showing and giving you confidence that we have already been there, have proven the capabilities of this tool, and there is much more possibilities lies out there. So in the next subsequent slides, we'll talk about the user experience in this tool. You can see in the screen that it is quite visually interactive. The moment you upload a file, it understands the data patterns, it uploads the data so that you can interact with the data, and suppose a couple of team members are already working on it in different versions, you can see if it is allowed, that how data is getting better. Now traditionally, IBM's forte is the scalability of its solutions. So it doesn't matter how big your data assets, data class or file size, it can handle whatever you feed into this tool. Active profiling, another very important, how you want to do the tokenization, how you want to do the profiling, it understands. You just need to write the rules and policies and it will understand and put your set of data accordingly. As I mentioned earlier, data lineage, which is a very important dimension of data preparation stage. It understands and takes care of it. It tags it automatically, of course, with the help of instructions given to it. And validation is also another important aspect. And the validation can be done by various stakeholders in the hierarchy through the help of workflow. So going forward, let me show you some key differentiators, why this solution stands out in the market. The first one is interactive exploration. As I mentioned earlier, it understands, identifies multiple data sets and aggregates and settle the data as per your convenience or as you have instructed in the tool. And by the way, the icing on the cake is it also handles the unstructured set of data. Then it also identifies the outliers, which means that that set of data which basically skew your output or the health of the overall enterprise class data, it identifies those outliers and highlight it so that you can take proper actions. And also while you are doing all these exercise in the tool, it tells you, shows you the immediate outcome of every action that you have taken then and there. So you don't need to wait, and that is the reason it saves a lot of time for you. Another important dimension of this is predictive. What it suggests, if you remember what I told earlier, that it has a built-in fabric of machine learning. So it understands the patterns of the data, recommends what should be done or what can be done to make your data better, proactively suggests data preparation tasks, then automatically identifies the join keys for blending the two different data sets. You know what I mean? If you have worked in this kind of a similar platform, but a little less advanced. And then it also groups records based on patterns, which is another important aspect in the data to harmonize the entire data sets. So I hope now you got a glimpse of this solution. We have many other ways to show you or give you a full experience of this tool going forward. Next, we can talk about a couple of success stories or use cases that our customers are enjoying through this tool. The first one is a leading healthcare service provider. The data challenges that at an enterprise level, the data AI applications were failing when they were trying to scale it up. Remember, AI applications, when you start it in a nook and a corner in your organization, it performs really well. It blows your mind. But the moment you try to take it at an enterprise scale, it fails. And that's the reason, and that was exactly what happened with this healthcare service provider. And using this tool, the specific set of tasks which used to take 8 hours, now they are doing it in less than a minute. And they are having they're actually reducing the time by 97%. Another very Herculean task for them was of facility management. The different kind of assets and a healthcare service provider would have in different geographies scattered across. They were not able to complete all the projects in one go. They were trying to do it one by one, and because of this tool, they had the basic understanding and also the advanced understanding of the data scattered across the organization, and they could take it up everything at once. And that's why they were able to handle or manage 600 plus facilities, which was never possible for them. Another successful case study was how a retail organization used this platform to get benefit in many downstream applications. Now remember, AI applications mostly are your downstream applications, and if they are not able to consume the data, they will fail. And that is what exactly this tool does. So if a data scientist is building a model which will be further gets translated to a business model, and if you are not able to feed the business ready data, then it fails. And that is exactly what happened with this customer. And that is the reason they used to take 4 weeks for a specific task because of the repetitive correction of the data patterns. They were somehow not getting the desired output. And because of this tool, they managed to save that time and reduce those 4 weeks of activities to just 8 hours. Isn't that amazing? Other downstream application benefits they got is 20% improvement on fraud detection, then 55% decrease in the false positive. I'm sure you would know this false positive and false negative when it comes to master data management and how you can push the right set of offers to your right set of customers. And if you do not have a proper AI having a proper fuel as the right data, then it will not work. And of course, eventually it leads to revenue, and the customer managed to get 90% uplift in their revenue. We can get started today. I'm sure you would have liked this different distinctions of this tool and how it can add value to your organization. Talk to your account representatives, and they can get you connected to our team, how you can experience the tool quickly. Now, if you did not like the last 10-15 minutes, I'm sure you're going to like this video clip, which is going to give you a very short glimpse but very interactive experience of what this tool is all about.
You've got the power of business intelligence and analytics tools in your hands. However, getting business-ready data to actually make them work is a time-consuming task, especially if you need to manually clean, structure, and prepare the data. IBM InfoSphere Advanced Data Preparation is built to give you self-service access to datasets that already complement governance and regulatory expectations. By supporting an automated preparation process, InfoSphere ADP lets you start using your data faster. To begin, start where the elements of your data preparation project are managed. Add new data to a flow by connecting data to a source or dropping in a file. InfoSphere ADP presents your data visually for intuitive exploration. Easily spot patterns or data quality issues that may need to be addressed. Preparing data is interactive. Immediately, see how a potential transformation impacts your data to ensure the right choice. In this case, the date format is standardized. With each interaction, the solution offers an intelligent suggestion to guide you on how best to clean and structure your data. Use the toolbar to kick off common tasks, such as joining two datasets. InfoSphere ADP guides you to select the right common keys and provides direction on how to best execute the join. These transformations are automatically tracked as part of your recipe. When you're finished, click Run Job. Schedule workflows to run on a regular basis for repeated production use. Publish your output to virtually any file format, database, or application for broader use. With InfoSphere ADP, you can bring together more data faster, whether you need to prepare data for analytics, BI tools, or standard reporting. Learn more about IBM InfoSphere Advanced Data Preparation at ibm.com.
Hope you liked the clip, and please get in touch with your account representatives as soon as possible. So in the last 15 minutes, whatever we discussed about the data preparation is more of a groundwork that you have to do to get the right set of data. Now a very important stage in the data preparation is fetching the right set of data to the right set of people at the right time. And that is, trust me, a very complex set of activities if you do not have the proper tools and solutions and architecture in place. I have interacted with many of my customers in this field, and it has been a perennial problem for them. They really struggle how to get the right data to the right set of people, because there is a vulnerability issues. The right data should be there with the right set of people from a security point of view, and also the business terminologies need to be defined very properly. Let me give you an example what really happens in a bank. If the database administrator shares a report with a business leader, and the example, for example, one column reads GL underscore 007 underscore 47A, that might not make any sense to the business user. He might not be able to comprehend what exactly this column is talking about. So the business user really struggles to understand that column or the very purpose why the data is there. Imagine if he has a solution through which you can just simply press a key in a laptop and gets the very definition of that terminology, then voila, that's exactly what is needed. He not only gets the definition, the meaning of that table, he also starts working on that, which otherwise would have taken days. Trust me, this is what the customers are complaining about these days. It takes a lot of time for them simply to understand the meaning of the tables and the reports. So in a nutshell, what I'm trying to tell you is, once your data is AI ready, another very important phase what you are going to have is the data cataloging, so that the data would make sense to each and every group of people in every echelon in an organization. So the agenda for the next 10 minutes would be to talk about a solution which is called Watson Knowledge Catalog. And then we'll talk about how it is going to add value in terms of governing your different set of data in an organization, how to develop a catalog based on different business needs, then advanced classification so that right set of data can be reached to the right set of people, then enriching and sharing business ready data as and when it is needed, and then also enabling the users to explore, prepare the subsequent set of data. So as you can see in the slide, there are 4 different phases in the data organization or data cataloging phase, but the most important one is the organized one. And we believe in IBM there are 5 important services which eventually constitute to this organized phase. The first one is the automated data curation service, where you curate the data. Once the data is ready, then you curate the data based on different business needs. Then the automated data management, the metadata management rather, how you are going to link the different set of data. Then the self-service interaction, how different business users going to have a self-service platform to consume the data without the help of any technical resources. Then, of course, the core of it or the vault of it is the automated core governance services, which I was talking about how the right set of data should be there, the right set of people. And then the downstream applications, eventually we're going to use that set of data, for example, the master data management, so that you can have a unique ID of your customers or your product. And once all these 5 services work in harmony, in tandem, then you get the right set of data for your AI lifecycle. So once these 5 services work in complete harmony, you will get your desired set of AI-ready data. So let me drill down further on different dimensions of these 5 services. In the automated metadata curation services, you need to have auto data discovery, then auto classification of the data, then auto detect the sensitive data. Now this is a very important thing. I just want to pin it on your wall. We will address it later, why sensitive data is so important and how you can address it. Then auto-analyzing the data, what kind of different data classes are there, then assigning those data to the right business definition. So this entire segment is automated data curation services. Then the automated metadata management, there is no rocket science behind it, but of course what goes inside is a complex technology, set of scripts which have been developed by IBM, where it joins the different metadata linkage, establishes linkages so that the data can be related to each other. And then the self-service interaction in which the different business stakeholders, they consume the data, be it a CFO, be it a chief marketing officer, doesn't matter, they don't need to learn it. It is such a tool in which you can simply log in with your credentials and start consuming the data, because the exact business definition has already been given to the different classes of the data. Nevertheless, let me take you through those building blocks of self-service interaction. The first one is a universal search platform where you can search whatever you want in terms of finding the data. Then tagging, if you are an authorized user in the echelon in an organization and you have the authorization, then you can enrich those business data based on your experience or based on your business requirement, so that it can also be useful for other business stakeholders. Then of course, needless to say, how workflow and collaboration play an important role. And the last one is self-service data preparation. Now this is quite a magical part, that you are not dependent on any technical resources in preparing the data or cataloging the data. You can do it on your own based on your experience, based on what the business demands. The other two important services, which are core governance and automated master data management services, which eventually create a data lineage service. Now, as I said, from the point of inception, data inception to the point of reflection, you need to have a complete record of your data, how it has been modified, how has been the metamorphosis of the data, what journey the data has been through, and so that you can take the right action. Now, another important building block is the policy management and enforcement. So, interestingly, this tool allows you to write policies if you are the right user, and the data stewards, for that matter, they write policies. So, for example, one person in an organization is trying to access a very sensitive data. Remember, I pin it on your wall to come to a later stage. The sensitive data, which is these days play a very important role. You can actually either redact, block, or substitute those sensitive set of data based on different policies that you would define in the tool. You are not dependent on any other tool. It has an engine which takes the right action as per the instruction given to the tool. Now, isn't that very interesting? You are not dependent, being a business user, you are not dependent on your technical resources to take actions on your customer sensitive data. And this Watson Knowledge Catalog does that for you. And last one, the fifth one, is the metadata, master data management rather, and how with the help of this tool, your customer unique ID gets further refined and optimized so that you can push the right set of offers to the right set of customers. So before we go to experience the tool, what it looks like and how it is going to give you a very lively and enriching experience, I would like to highlight one very important aspect of this solution is the ability to have end-to-end services. Now, if you look at the slide, there are 6 or 7 very fundamental yet very key aspects to have a successful data preparation platform. If we are ignoring any one of these, then you will not get the right set of AI-ready data. We already have discussed about this, but I would just like to highlight it so that you can make a note of it. Those are self-services, ability, business glossary ability, then data lineage ability. Remember data lineage, how important it is. Then governance and metadata management. The data need to talk to each other. Data quality, why data quality is so important. And in India, I don't need to emphasize what is the quality of the data and how we need to improvise on it. And then advanced data discovery. The data should be at the disposal of the right set of users. Together, these constitutes the Watson Knowledge Catalog, which is an automated AI-driven tool or a platform through which you can get the business-ready data. So data citizens, basically who are interested in consuming the curated data, then information analyst, whose basic job, or they are interested in managing and curating the data, then data stewards who are responsible for writing the different policies, and they are basically the data custodians, and then the quality analyst, so that they can deliver the right quality of the data. So all these 4 users, including the business users, can log into this tool, provided the proper credentials have been given, because it integrates with your LDAP for that matter. So they can log in. This is what it looks like, the login screen. And then on your left-hand side, you have different functions, different commands that you can do. For example, you want to search a data, or you want to organize the data. Suppose you want to build a model. Suppose you have been given an assignment to build a model so that you can send it to the business for further optimization. Then you don't need to reinvent the wheel. So let me give you a snapshot of an experience. So you are a data citizen, and assignment has come to you from a CMO to build a model on customer crunch. So instead of reinventing the wheel, what you can do, you can go to the Universal Search Explorer and can figure out or find if anything similar has been built or worked upon. If you find anything, then you can further enhance it, optimize it, make it better. If you don't find anything, then you can build on your own. But remember, your asset can also be used by other set of people, provided they have been given the right set of credentials and approvals. So that is where you can do. I remember I was talking about the data protection rules. So suppose a class of users are not supposed to access that data, then quite magically you can block the data in terms of redacting the data, or substituting that data with some fabricated set of data, or you can simply mask the data. So all these things can be done in this tool. So apart from the data security aspect, you can also see the overall health of your data in your organization by simply going to the discovery or the data quality option, and then you can click on it and you can select the different data assets, class, or different business units, and you can see what is the health of your data. It shows overall percentage of your data, and if there are some outliers, data anomaly, which are skewing the overall health of your data, you can also pinpoint those outliers and can correct it. Universal Search and Explore, where you can find whatever you want, provided the data, the Watson Knowledge Catalog has been fed with those set of data from all the upstream applications. Cataloging, as you can see, for example, the online orders, the resource usage, different based on different business terminologies, you can define those names and then can later on find it. Remember, this is not only important for those users who are defining it, defining the definition of those data classes and data assets. It is also important for the consumers, for those business users in the branch, in the outlets who are sitting and trying to understand the data. For them also it becomes very easy to understand the data. Then this is how the preview looks like. For example, you don't want 2 columns in that data asset to be visible to some set of users. It can simply anonymize that column, so the user simply cannot make out what exactly it is, or the data will be fabricated. So we discussed about 2 important dimensions of data preparation. One is the data preparation itself on the ground, then the Watson Knowledge Catalog, which is a little sophisticated one. Right now, for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to talk about the accessibility of that data, how efficiently you can use the data for different purposes, whether be it analytics ready data, so that you can send it to different branches, different users without consuming additional hardware or infrastructure, or be it training. Multiple times you have to create multiple copies to be provided to different users for their training, or most important one is the DevOps cycle. Before I start, let me give you an elevator pitch for this particular platform. So this is a tool or a solution which saves 90% of your time in the DevOps cycle, and also with 90% savings on storage. Now, isn't that amazing that you would be able to do multiple repetitive tasks without consuming any additional hardware for that matter? So let's drill down further how it's going to do. So if you can see in the slide, this is the current situation where you have a production data, for example 1 terabyte, doesn't matter in what database because we are platform agnostic, and you want to give it to one copy to the developer, one copy to the quality analyst, one copy to the copy for the integration. Likewise, there are suppose 10 different copies required and you want to give them, you have to eventually spend 10 terabytes, isn't it? And there are two ways of going about it. Either you spend money and give all those 10 required copies to all these stakeholders, or you cut corners, which predominantly people do. You cut corners and then you do a subsetting of the data and give it to the users. Remember, when you are doing a subsetting, you are not exposing those enhancements of applications to the entire world of data anomalies. So that particular application have highest possibilities of failing when it gets exposed to the real world. So it is advisable to provide these developers, testers, the full set of data, application specific data for their required set of tasks. And we somehow cannot do that because of the constraints in budget or unavailability of the hardware. Another very important aspect of this hurdle is the parallel provisioning. So because of the lack of infrastructure, you simply cannot provide an infrastructure in terms of hardware, software, storage in equal proportion to all these teams or the application owners, and they simply cannot execute their job. They have to be in a sequential order to execute their task. So we have this solution called IBM Virtual Data Pipeline, which does in a nick of a time. So what exactly it does, in the next slide you can see, in the same scenario, you have 1 terabyte of data, you create a golden copy by using the Virtual Data Pipeline platform, and then you can create n number of copies without spending a single penny on the hardware or storage. And that's exactly the phenomenon what goes behind the screen. You simply need an IP address to be punched into the tool, and then you can flash it in that server on that IP address, and it would appear to be a total real environment for the developers or tester or quality analysts for that matter. So try to look at into a perspective of a general manager of infrastructure department. He doesn't need to write any more checks for spending on additional hardwares or storage precisely, and he can simply give the different IP addresses, and within an hour maybe he can simply flash n number of copies to different users, whether be it training, be it sharing analytical data to the business users, be it reporting to the CFOs. It doesn't matter, you can create n number of copies. So this is something like a teaser to you, and this slide talks about the overall business benefits. You can save 90% on storage. You can save 90% on DevOps cycle. Remember, Gartner says the typical DevOps cycle is around 22 days in terms of provisioning the hardware, and we are reducing those 22 days to 22 minutes. Now you do the maths, how much you are saving there. Then you can see the clear manifestation of what are the savings you are getting. And I would like to share one success story we recently had in India, where we managed to have a 3-digit ROI return for a customer in a banking industry. And now the customer was really blown away after seeing the benefit from this tool. So if you would like to go further on this, we can have arrange demos, we can arrange POCs as well for you. So rolling it all over again, data preparation plays a very important role in the AI lifecycle. If you are ignoring it, you are ignoring big time, and you trust me, you don't want to belong to that group of people. You should make the most of it, and the only way you can make the most of it is by having AI ready data, and this is the very fabric where you can get the business ready data. Hope you had an informative session. I would request you to enjoy the rest of the day, and please get back to me or the entire team. You can find the coordinates on the slide, and we can get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you. Have a good day.